Hey there, everybody. So, a couple of months ago, I put this image up on my Instagram stories and I asked all of you, what camera do you think that this image was shot with? And the answers came in on a variety of levels from iPhone all the way up to the Fuji GFX 100, which I actually thought was hilarious based on what I know about what was used to actually create this portrait. Now, the thing with this camera is that it actually reignited in me my drive to create. Now, for the last few years, I've been in this funk, this inability to really have any creative drive. And honestly, unless I was getting paid, I was very, very rarely ever picking up a camera. And that's just, for someone who makes their living off of creativity, that's just not a good place to be. So I ended up using this camera, and I want to talk to you about what it did for me, what it brought back for me, the different things that it reignited in me for my passion in creating, and just talk to you about what I'm doing now moving forward and how I'm using what I learned from this one little camera to continue the process of being in that creative mindset and just trying to enjoy what it is that I actually do, which is make a living behind the camera. Now, just to reveal this mystery camera, it's actually just a simple disposable camera. And to be exact, it's the Street Pan Kasha 27 frame black and white disposable camera. Now, I got this as a gift from my buddy Jamie roughly 4 years ago for Christmas. And over that time, it's come with me in my camera bag to various shoots. It's gotten lost in drawers for extended periods of time. It's been given to my children for them to capture a few photos just so I can see what the world looks like to them. And what I've found from viewing these images that I've been taking over the last 4 years have just completely changed my entire viewpoint on how I view creativity, or photography, I should say, as a creative medium. So what I want to do is I want to take you through some of the images that were captured on this camera. And then I want to talk to you about what I'm doing now to kind of continue this trend so that I don't fall into these funks again, hopefully moving forward. So as I said, this camera did come with me on a few shoots when I first picked it up. I did use it for a couple of creatives, but these images, they're cool in like a very artistic way, but these aren't the images that got me excited. These just sort of followed down the same path of what I was doing, just in a different medium. So what I want to show you is images like this, images of my kids hanging out in the backyard, or when me and my buddy Jeremy and Jamie, who are unbelievably talented photographers, decided to go for a swim in the Bow River, and it was freezing and it was cold. And I've got these snapshots, these perfectly imperfect portraits that they're for no one but me. There's no client, there's no following, there's no expectations, there's no other reason to have these images or to take these images for any other reason than they're for me. And that's something that I have lost in the work for a long time now. And then this final image that I'm going to show you here, this is a photo of Mount Yamniska, and this is an image that my son took as we were on our way to Canmore for a hockey tournament. Now, this image, to anyone else, it's just a photo that looks like it was taken from a car window. But the backstory behind this is that Mount Yamniska is the first mountain that I ever summited. And when my kids were much smaller and we were out in the mountains one day, I told them, I pointed it out to them, I said, hey, that's the first mountain that Daddy ever climbed. And it became known to my children at that time as Daddy's Mountain. And still to this day, whenever they see it, they say, there's Daddy's Mountain. So I handed this camera to my son and I said, hey, take images of whatever you want. And he knew that this mountain was coming up, but there was a lot of trees in the way. There were signs. We were traveling down the highway. There wasn't a clear vantage to get an image of this mountain. So he sat very patiently waiting for his window. And when the chance came, he took this image. And as I said, to anyone else, this image, it wouldn't mean anything. But to me, the image, it kind of means everything. It's, when I see it, it's a reminder of everything that happened before that image came to be. Everything with my kids and the way that they describe it and the fact that he took it and all of that, it's what I forgot existed when it comes to taking images with a camera. And so I figured out, I've got this skill set, I've got this passion, I've got this ability to create with a camera, but I haven't been creating anything for me. Everything that I've been doing has been for someone else. Unless I was getting paid, or even if I was doing creative work, the idea behind it was I was creating it so that others would see it and possibly hire me to do more actual paid work. So it wasn't for me. But now I've got this skill set that I've developed over the last 15 years that I can take and I can apply to what it is that I used to do when I first bought a camera. And speaking of skills, I do want to quickly talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Now, my very, very short Alberta summer is on the horizon, and I want to spend as much time as I can with my family and my kids enjoying that summer weather. The problem with that is that my ability to utilize my time in the best possible way, it's got a pretty bad track record. So to help with that, I've been diving into the time management and productivity courses like the Productivity Masterclass by Ali Abdaal, which has been helping me to utilize my time better so that I don't feel so rushed or behind on my to-do lists. And it has helped me to have more of the one thing that I always feel like I never have enough of, which is time. So if you're looking to hone your skills in photography, graphic design, music, cooking, business, marketing, really any skill that you're looking to improve on, Skillshare has something for literally everyone. And not only that, the first 500 people to use the link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So click the link down in the description below and just hone in on some new skills. All right, so what am I doing now that I was not doing since I developed that disposable camera? And it's easy, is that I've been walking around with a camera. More specifically this, which is my Fuji X Pro 2. And if you look at the bottom here, I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick that up. On the bottom, it says #1 Elson as the serial number. So this camera is gonna stick with me for forever. But what walking around with this camera has done is it's slowed me down. It's made me curious. It's given me back that idea of just creating for the sake of creating. And I'm not spending every day doing it. It might be once a week or once every other week where I spend an hour or maybe a morning or an afternoon where I'm just walking around and just taking images, just seeing what I can find. But there's no expectations to it. Outside of this video, no one may ever see the images that I create on these little walks that I've been going out on. And that's kind of the purpose behind this, is I'm just finding images that I find interesting, things that I think are cool, that I feel creative when I take. It's not for anyone but me. And that's something that I find a lot of people who get into these creative endeavors and they make a career out of them, is that they lose that creating for themselves. When we first start into anything, we're just creating for the sake of creating, just to be curious, to try new things and to see what we can make out of it. But then as we start getting attention on that work, well, that starts to craft what it is that we do, and we start creating more of the work that gets more of the attention and different things like that. And we can sometimes lose sight of what it was that drew us to this in the first place and what made it fun. And that's all I'm really trying to get back to, is a place where taking images is fun. Because that's honestly when I create my best work, is when I feel like I'm having a good time doing it. And for the last few years, I haven't felt that. It's been missing. And so this is bringing me back to a place where that once again exists. And it's simple. It's literally just creating for me. So I want to pass that question off to all of you. For those of you who are, whether it's photography or painting or sculpting or whatever it is that you're doing, are you doing anything just for you? Meaning that if no one else in the world ever sees it, are you still creating it and you're happy that you created it? Does it fulfill your sense of making in a way that your client work does not? Because if you're not, I would highly recommend that you get back to that you do that. And if you are, I would love to hear what you're doing. Use the comments box down below. This is something that I would love to have a conversation about. And like I said, I just feel like it's something that we lose in ourselves the second we start creating for other people. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, I hope those of you who, have seen this video that might be going through the same similar thing that I have been for the last couple of years, or you feel like you're just coming out of it, or maybe you just feel like you're just starting to get into it, I hope that this video can help you navigate those waters just a little bit better. But with that, just as always, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm so happy to have this community. But with that, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.